Hey guys, I'm smoke pot. It's late. I ended up getting called to go do some work I didn't want to do. It is buku windy. But it's coming from a direction where I don't really get it here. So it's not like very windy right here at my house. But it's windy everywhere else. And some of them kind of winds that when they gust up when you're walking, it kind of blows you sideways and makes it hard to walk. So it's always a fun time to take a 3 mile walk, but made $40 for taking a 3 mile walk. Can't complain over much about that. I saw a thing I haven't really read into yet. Had a recent Supreme Court opinion that, if I read correctly, will affect qualified immunity. It'll make it easier to sue. And basically, what it means is that if an officer wrongly arrests you, even if you're convicted of the crime, you can still sue him for deprivation of rights. Now, this may seem like an okay thing on the surface, but there's something insidious going on with that whole thing. Okay, if the arrest was wrongful, all the charges should be thrown out. I don't see how you can hold the officer civilly liable for a wrongful arrest or for wrongful detention or for illegal search and seizure and carry those charges through. And secondly is this overemphasis on suing officers and qualified immunity. Qualified immunity is only ever going to shift one insurance company for another. And it's going to end up being the same insurance companies that insure the cops, make trillions of dollars by insuring cops, that are now insuring towns and cities. Suing cops is not the answer. Suing cops is not going to fix anything. Title 42 cases are not going to fix anything. Title 18 cases are going to fix things. Prosecutors with the fucking testicles big enough to press charges against officers when they break the law. Each and every time they break the law. Period. So, all of this emphasis on qualified immunity and suing officers is really just playing into the union's hands and allowing them to control the narrative of the conversation. Because that's not the problem. The problem isn't that we are having a hard time suing officers. We do it to the tune of about $3 billion a year in this country. We sue municipalities and officers. It doesn't help anything. law enforcement needs to be criminally liable for criminal actions. They need to be liable for criminal actions, period. Whether it's state law, city ordinance, county ordinance, no matter what it is, they need to be held accountable. I don't care if it's parking in front of a fire hydrant in a non-emergency situation. Hold them accountable. The people who enforce the law, first and foremost, above all else, must respect and obey the law. Okay? So fix the transparency. Remove the wedge that the union and the fraternal order of police has driven between the police and society. And then we can move on to fixing the law, the legislations, the bail system, all the other massive racist, classist flaws that our justice system has. So these, what's his name, Bruce Crump, civil rights lawyer, more power to him for, helping people seek justice and get paid. But I'd have more respect for him if he was a criminal lawyer and he was going after these police officers criminally. You can go on YouTube, watch tens of thousands of hours of cops breaking the law. He's straight up breaking the law, violating the Constitution, breaking the law, kidnapping. If a cop detains me and then tells me to stand over here, that's a de facto arrest. If that detainment is illegal and that arrest is illegal, that's a kidnapping. Because a kidnapping is when you take control of somebody and move them from one place to another. He doesn't have to handcuff me for me to be under arrest. He just has to take control of my person. Or she. So the societal pressure, once again, I see these movements, the BLM movements, the other things, they're allowing the narrative to be controlled by the opposition. And that's the same thing that happened to Martin Luther King Jr., and it's the same thing that happened to everybody else. No matter how eloquently you argue, if you're not arguing the core issues, you're never going to fix them. You're never going to win an argument that's based on falsities anyway. You're never going to win this circular argument with people. You need to address the core issues. And in this country, the core issue is and always has been white supremacy. Straight up. And it's just the hard facts of it. So they can dawdle all about all they want about qualified immunity. It ain't gonna change shit. The only thing that's going to change shit is getting people into office that have got the fucking balls to stand up to these major corporations. And you got to get a lot of them in there. Because that's who the police are there to protect. It's the people with a lot of money. It's like the justice system is there to prosecute and to imprison as many people as can't afford to fight their way out of it. When I was young and crazy and doing stupid shit, I had a lawyer on retainer and I had money hidden out to pay him for worst case scenarios. I didn't leave the house without his phone number in my head. Ever. So, this whole movement of the First Amendment auditors and the accountability activists, they're a very key part in all of this. Because the vast majority of people in society have no idea how bad it really is. Some of them are starting to figure it out. This whole mask mandates and a bunch of other shit that just came down the pipe recently. People are starting to figure it out. We do not live in a free country. Until very recently, I could be thrown in a dungeon and tortured for this. For what I'm doing right now. Put in a concrete box with steel bars full of rapists and murderers. Not really. One rapist, a couple of murderers, and everybody else was in there for drugs. A couple of drunk drivers. I'm going to stand by that, man. All these court cases that I've watched and how things have percolated through. The most powerful things I've seen are changes in the rules of evidence that allow video and changes in the interpretations of the First Amendment and of crime scenes and of traffic stops and when and where and how and who and what you can film safely. And how prior restraint is defined and what a police officer can and can't do to a person exercising their First Amendment rights to try to infringe upon them. Because the more people watch these videos, the less people can deny the fact we have a fucking problem. And I'm not of the ilk of, oh, there's some bad cops out there. Oh, cops are out of control. I'm of the ilk of law enforcement officers, as they are right now in the nation, are an insurgent army of combatants who have openly declared war on the American people. That's who they are. They're the Taliban. They're Blue ISIS. They're the Blue Klux Klan. They're not here to protect or serve anybody I know. And they don't do that. So the more important cases that are coming through are happening underneath the radar for the most part. and aren't happening as a result of multi-billion-dollar nonprofits like BLM, or and they're not happening because of Antifa burning shit down in Portland and Seattle. Like Antifa's never mind that conversation. We'll have that some other day. Um, it's these activists with cameras that are making the change. The irony is, there's one guy that does nothing but weed stores. He goes and films the weed store. And they call the cops on him. Since when does the fucking weed dealer call the fucking cops on you? Are you fucking kidding me? Am I hallucinating? Did I eat some bad bread with ergot fungus in it or something? Why is the weed man calling the cops on people for having a fucking camera? Every weed store in the world has 500 cameras on it. I am confused. What the fuck is going on? Did you know that anytime you go in a public building, anybody can go in and file a FOIL, whatever it's called in your state, Open Records Act request, and get the footage from you going in and out of the lobby, hanging out in the lobby, sitting in a chair, reading a magazine, whatever you did on camera while you were there. Anybody can get that footage. More importantly, the state police, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the alphabet fucking soup can all get that footage. And they could use it against you in a court of law if they want to bring charges against you for some stupid shit. So why shouldn't you have a camera at all times? Why shouldn't you fucking videotape anything you have to do with any public official ever? Or even a fucking clerk at Walmart. Just fucking film everything. If I had the battery for it and a little tiny camera that was fucking break proof, I would just stick it on my chest, turn it on when I leave the house. Just record every motherfucker I come across. If I had a cop fucking curb stomp me, I mean, like, lock up the brakes on his car, jump out, run to where I was, tackle me, curb stomp me, use his fucking billy club, the Tonfa with a handle on it, drive my head down into the fucking concrete while he cuffed me with his knee on my fucking head, beat me the fuck up all the way to the car, throw me in the fucking car, take me down in jail. The report said that he was standing in the intersection trying to direct traffic, and I ran at him off the sidewalk and attacked him. That's what the police report said. And if 3 of the people standing across the street hadn't been willing to fucking come in and testify in court, I would have went to prison for it. That's a felony. That's a big felony. That's a felony you're going to get the maximum penalty for. Assaulting a police officer, they don't fuck around. And it used to be that was the status quo. That's just how it went. Cop felt like taking you to jail, man. He'd just grab you, throw you in jail, say you assaulted him. I know 2, 3 people that did time over some bullshit like that. So use that fucking camera. My girlfriend ended up in jail because her fucking caseworker at the welfare office said she threatened her. And she didn't threaten her, I was sitting right there. She said, I don't know how you made it this far in this job without somebody slapping you. That's what she said. That's not a threat. That's just a fucking statement of fact. She don't understand how it's never happened. And I'm here to tell you, that woman was rude as fuck to us from the minute we walked in there. Why is he here? 'Cause my English isn't very good. Just rude as fuck, man. Because she worked for the state, had some kind of power. Whether or not you get to fucking eat, you know. I mean, I didn't. She had kids. She had to feed with food stamps. I didn't want. I would have fed them anyway, but that's, you know, that was her gig. It's not like we were living together, but I'm not gonna let kids go hungry. I had a job. They threw her in fucking jail. And this bitch didn't even say anything. She gets up away from the desk and walks out of the room, goes in the other room and calls 911. Or presses some panic or buzzer or something. Says fucking lying ass motherfuckers. It may come as a surprise, but I've spoken to maybe thousands of cops. I've never had an interaction with a cop more than a minute long, but that cop didn't lie to me. Almost every cop I've ran into will spit some law. He said, blah, 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 MCL, blah, blah, says I have the right to ask you for ID. Right. You do have the right to ask me for ID. I have the right to ask you for a 30-06 in a hand job. I can't make you give them to me. And it's the same with my ID. The Fourth Amendment is very clear to some of us. Anyway, I was up late smoking a doobie and thought I'd ramble at the camera. Something to do.